Hello and welcome everyone. Sorry about that little bit of a delay we had in the beginning. We got started a little bit late today. Was having some technical issues with the webcam. For some reason it didn't want to let it go, but here we are, ready to write some code together. So welcome to DevChatter. For anyone who is new, my name is Brendan, and I host this stream here, this DevChatter stream. You can see it all around me. And hopefully everybody's having a good Thursday. We are going to be writing some C# and ASP.NET code today. ASP.NET Core 2.1 to be specific on the version there. The code that we're going to look at is our C# chatbot that we have been working on. I've had to mention in the last couple of streams that I had made some modifications to the bot that were fairly significant. So the changes that I made are that we now run the bot through a we're now running it through our ASP.NET Core website. It's no longer running as the console application that we used previously, and so as a result, the bot has a slightly different configuration setup. And I switched us to this and have had us on this branch for a few streams now. And the significant thing is this. For anyone who is familiar, if you watch the chat box there on the left, I'm going to type in some commands. Our bot responds to commands even though it's just part of a web app. We're doing this through a background process, which I'm going to show you all what we're doing to make that work. But needless to say, that's a list of the commands that you can currently run on the bot. The way I know that's the current list is because this command actually pulls from the bot's memory and says, hey, what am I able to respond to right now? And gives us that list. So that is the real list that it can currently handle. The problem is, for anyone who's a regular here, you would know that we store in the database a bunch of commands that we create inside the bot. So we do like cmd add. So essentially the idea being that we can create commands this way. The problem is we're not currently loading those. So as part of the new setup process, I haven't added this in yet. So we're deficient a feature that we need to get in here. So I want to add this today. So you're all going to see how we wire that up, how we essentially are running commands from our database. So instead of having code driven by it, we have data. So first thing I want to do is see how many branches I've got sitting around that I should have deleted already. Let's see, git checkout master git branch -- merged. So I'm going to do a little bit of getting here. I want to see which branches have already been merged into master, and I'm going to delete those. So we're going to do PR198, and we're going to delete PR206. So those are pull request branches that I pulled in. Git branch -d and penrec / schedule formatting. So that is formatting our scheduling command. And take a look at that again. So that is what has been merged in. So the rest of these branches are not yet merged in. Let's go back to the one that we were working on, which is actually the hangfire botting, is what I called it. Because we were sort of figuring out how to integrate hangfire into our bot. Okay. We are back onto this one, and should be good. The question is whether I nuked the bot when I did that. Uptime? We'll try a command. Okay, so, yep, we definitely killed the bot when we did that, so we're going to start it over again. Hey, Blub, welcome. So, I'm going to go ahead and run this again. And if we hop over into here, this is the site the bot is running on, and it seems to be working, so we're going to call that good. The bot should have said hello in chat. It did, and now we'll try the uptime command. And it says we've been up for a little over 11 minutes, so that sounds correct. Okay, so the bot is definitely running and working again. The reason it shut down is actually because I was messing around changing branches. So when you change branches, that changes the project that's here in Visual Studio. So because of that, it shut down our bot. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got in here in the startup of our project. So we have a little bit of messy code right now, and the reason for that is that when we took all of the... So we had organized modules of dependency injection registration that was in our previous system. When we switched over to what we have now, we decided to get rid of autofac, and we said we're just going to use the default ASP.NET solution for this, for dependency injection. I should say the .NET Core solution for this. So we switched over to using the Microsoft Extensions Dependency Injection library to give us this code. So that's actually what we're doing now. And what that meant is that we just took all the code that was somewhere else and just stuffed it here in our startup. We're going to clean that up. We will get to that. Okay, so the challenge is that we are not creating the commands that are our, quote, simple commands. So I'm going to show you where those come from. Simple command is right here, and a simple command, just make this code a little bit clearer for you. If you come down here, it gets a few values. It gets its command text set. And nothing else in there is really all that interesting. It basically just runs whatever text it's got. So this is doing its cooldown code. This needs to get pulled somewhere else. I don't like this being in here. This is a remnant from some previous code that didn't disappear yet. Let's open this one. Add list of string extension. So that's add command. Creates a new simple command when we do that. List of string extensions. Set up database. So this adds the default set into the database. Process should. Where is it? Command policy. Here it is. Found it. This is the one I was looking for. So the way this works is this is actually the code that allows our repository to work for pulling these out of the database. So we do an interesting trick for this that I really should find a way of referencing old videos when I'm explaining this stuff so that I don't have to go off on the tangent every time explaining how our code works. But the basic idea is that this defines an easy-to-use filter so that we can just say by command text. So we want to do a command policy by command text and pass in what it is. So this finds us a command in the database. It's also inheriting from this the data item policy, which is going to allow us to use a .all command. So if I go down here into... Where was this getting used? Is this commented out somewhere? Hang on one second. Let me do this. I'm going to search for command policy.all. Ooh, we don't use it anywhere. Okay. In that case, I want to go to the iRepository, and I want to find all references to list that do a so iRepository, hang on, simple command references. Okay, list of expression, okay, app data, set up database, okay. Creates those. That's just those. Huh. Oh, so I'll say Nocta. Noctilues. Not sure how to pronounce that, but I took a guess. So I feel good about it. You would be interested in knowing that, yeah, okay, good, Nocta works. So you would be interested in the fact that I am planning on setting up a Learn to Code series of streams, and so we are going to approach those from like a beginner level of C#. So we're going to start off we're going to run VS Code, so free, easy version of, we'll say Visual Studio. Really, it's a lot lighter weight than Visual Studio. It's really just a text editor. And we are going to start from scratch every project at every stream. So if you show up at the beginning of the stream, you'll be able to just follow along, and we'll be doing fairly simple and contained stuff. So everything will be easy on those. So absolutely great for beginner programmers. So yeah, I am planning on doing that. They will be starting kind of soon. I tweeted about this. Feel free to respond to my Twitter poll that I created, which I will link in chat. Where is it? Thought that poll was in here. Oh, there it is. Okay, this one. So I will link this in chat. So feel free to go there, vote on the poll, retweet it so more people vote. I'd like as many responses as we can, so we choose a good date for when to do that stream. It's not just going to be one stream, and it's not just going to be on the date chosen, but the idea being that I want to know like what days are better. So if people really like, say, Mondays and Saturdays, then I'll try to do most of them on those days, and that'll just sort of help me plan when we do the like Learn to Code stuff. I'm actually expecting the Learn to Code ones to still be fun, even for people who are not beginners, because it's fun to just, I don't know, build a simple program from start to finish and have it work. So we'll have a couple of cool ones like that. So if how far we are into this C# right now gets you confused by stuff, don't worry about that. Follow as much as you can, and we'll help fill in the gaps with some Learning to Code streams too. So, okay, so the thing I'm looking for is in our previous code. So before we moved it over to there, I had some code that set up the module, and I think I may have deleted it. If that's the case, then I'm going to need to go pull that from source control to figure out what I did previously. Because what I did previously worked pretty well. Fire up alias notifications. Yes, and welcome C# Fritz and friends. I apologize if I'm loud. I blame it on Fritz being quiet. But welcome. We're going to be writing some more C# code here. Not the same stuff that Fritz was working on, but it is still C# code. So, welcome, get settled in, and we are just getting started, so you're arriving at a good time. Okay, so the code that we're working on right now is... Well, we are looking at our chatbot, but given that we've got a big raid coming in, I might work on something more interesting. Our chatbot is, of course, a staple project here that we use because it is the chatbot that is actually over there in that chat window. So you can see it on stream. It does a few interesting things. I'll show you guys a couple of the more interesting pieces real quickly. So we can play Hangman with our bot, for example. So the bot is over there, and I can actually give it commands and play a game of Hangman in chat. You can all join in as well, using that same command structure I did there. You just type !HM and then guess a letter that you think might be in the word. Sorry, Cass, that letter was not in the word. Too many guesses wrong, and we will lose that. The plan is to have an animated stick figure somewhere on the screen here, just appearing up there while we play, but we haven't built that feature yet. But that is in our plans, so yeah, I don't know what that word is, so good luck to you. Okay, so I think what we were doing before is that we looped and created a set of these at startup. So I kind of want to go into bot main, use the repository to create a set, to create the simple commands at runtime. I know it's not the ideal way to set it up, but I think it's just going to make things work. And I'd rather get it working and then make it nice later. Because, as I often like to point out to people, shipping is a feature, your code should have it. So at some point, we just need to make this actually run. So this has the command handler comes in, and that comes in, and then we run this here. So what I want to do is this. Command handler, repository, inside of run. We will say, so I'm just going to put this in for now, and it's not actually going to be as nice as we want it to be. I am going to say private bool, and we're going to say simple commands setup. Our simple commands setup equals false. This will get renamed to that. And then what we're going to do is this. We are going to say set up simple commands. So that'll be one of our initialization steps here. And what I am going to do is say if simple commands are set up, we're going to return, because we don't need to be here if those are already done. MS test, nice! Wow, you guys got it! Well done! Oh man. Andy from Lithuania. Yeah, I can explain some of the benefits of coding to an interface. I assume you mean coding to an interface instead of an instance of an object. I can absolutely explain that. Give me 1 second to finish the code I'm writing right now, though, and I will explain. So, I want a list of command policy.all. So what this code is going to do here is I'm accessing my repository, I'm telling it I want a list of data, and the way that I want it to decide what data to get me is I want it to pull command data, and I want it to specifically pull all of the commands. So that's how I would wire that one up. Once that works, that gets me all the commands, and then I can say underscore command handler. And I'm realizing I need on that a way to set these commands after the fact if I'm going to wire it together this way. So I think the case you're probably running into, Andy from Lithuania, a lot of people run into code where someone created an interface and there wasn't really a reason why they created the interface. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll make a single class and a single interface, and you know, if that interface didn't exist and you just ran this code, it would work just fine. And so that is actually very common. So I actually don't recommend always coding to an interface. I recommend you code to an interface as soon as the interface becomes valuable. And that is an important distinction, and I will explain what I mean. The interface can become valuable in one of two ways. The easiest way is that I have code where I don't want my command handler to run, for example, but I want to be able to test the code that calls this. In those instances, the easiest way to make it so that we don't actually call this code, is to have an interface instead. So essentially, in this here, you'll notice that in my constructor, I take in an iCommandHandler object. Because it's an interface, it's really simple to implement this interface using a fake object that does not, say, connect to a database or talk to chat or wire into other things that I don't want it to wire into when I'm in my unit testing scenario. So by having an interface, I can very easily write my own object that does not have the same dependencies as the one I'm testing. And welcome developers from Visual Studio. Welcome everyone. Hopefully you are all having a fantastic day. So that's the idea there. So that's the first scenario where having an interface is useful. That one is the, like, well, if I'm not testing, then do I really need it? Which is partially why I say if you're not extracting the dependency in your tests yet, I don't recommend creating that interface. I recommend you create it when you need it. I will make an exception to that statement. If you are writing a public interface, say you're writing a library that's going to be used by other people, like an open source project or something like that, I very much recommend that you include that interface. And the Naked Flame, welcome. Hi. Welcome, other devs. Hopefully everybody is ready for more coding. And Andy, let me know if that explained that well enough for you. Well done, Casru. That was a good adjustment to the name there. Okay, so we'll actually talk about another instance of why you would use that, an interface, instead of a concrete class in a little bit, Andy. That's just the one that was relevant to what we're doing now, but I will bring it up again in a moment. 8 on FPS? I do not know the answer to that question. Flames burn clothes. Yeah, they totally could. Okay, so I want to write add commands. And we're going to add our simple commands to it. Or add commands? We're not really adding them. Yes, Andy from Lithuania. Dependency injection, dependency inversion, whatever you technically meant by that DI, you can do that in C# in a lot of ways, and not just with interfaces. So you could do it with abstract classes, you could do it with inheritance. So your options are either inheritance or implementing interfaces. Although I will also point out that one of the things that people don't actually consider about the idea of dependency inversion, dependency injection, is that it's not always just about polymorphic uses of that. So that's what we're talking about when we say using an interface or using an abstract class. There's actually just change of value. So for example, if you took in an enumeration, for example, that's another way to do it. And BM Davis 1984, welcome. Thanks for following. Okay, so gotta come up with and I will show you the other example for that in a moment. There are some very important examples of when you actually want to be using interfaces. Command handler, add commands. I don't like add commands, because we're not really adding them. Maybe it's include commands? Because we want to include them in the system. We want them to be in here. So this is going to add, so I'm adding a new method to this interface. So this interface is actually going to have two things. First, that one's received, and also that they are getting set up. So that is a much better name. Set up commands. There we go. See, naming things. It is totally the hardest thing about programming. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, at this point, here is your question. So you asked me why I would want to use an interface. This is actually a case where an interface is actually a useful thing. So by saying I accept an I list of simple command instead of a list, this can now accept either a list or an array. Either one would both be valuable. There are other things that implement the iList interface as well. But I can get away with this now. I don't need to actually have a list. Now, I might need that to be a list in the underlying implementation, but we're going to find out. I don't think I do, though. So here is what we are going to do. I am going to... Oh, wait, hang on. I do need to rename it one more time. I should call this setup simple commands. And the key is that simple commands are special. Simple commands are database driven and not code driven. So that's why they're a little different. So this method, instead of taking the interface, is taking this specific class because it's the only one that I want to work this way. So let's jump over here, and I am going to implement that member right there. So now I am going to say command, nope, this dot, where is it? Command messages? There we go. This dot command messages dot add. Oh, I can't add range to it. Okay. You guys are about to see the benefits of not using an interface sometimes. So I want to use the add range method. iList, this right here, this interface does not include add range because that, while that is an operation that is built into the list class, it's not built into the array. So if I do that, then it would work just fine. Command messages came in. Ooh, the command list is one of those. Son of a gun. Alright, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to go into the command handler, scroll down here. Instead of an add range, we will do an add, and we're going to do it on a for each loop. So it's going to be terrible. And I will apologize in advance. Luckily, we do this once on startup, so the performance does not actually matter. Simple command. There we go. Okay. Whoa, bunch of stuff happened in the chat. Why do enterprises often use expensive Windows servers when there are excellent free alternatives? Lord Bourne, a lot of that is actually because they like what they're able to do on Windows. There are actually a lot of good benefits to it. Free alternatives does mean Linux, and some companies have made strong investments on Windows Server platforms. And welcome, Mendax. Thanks for following. Yeah, but that's again the polymorphic benefit of interfaces, which is very important and useful. Yes, Andy, exactly. And Parathon is totally correct. So Microsoft backs a lot of those things. You can pay for Microsoft support for a lot of things. There's a lot of other stuff like that. No, Andy, I didn't cast. Spaghetti hype. Yeah, thank you. Parathon support for what? Lord Bourne, I believe he means that you can pay for a lot of support from Windows. And actually, you would be surprised at how good Microsoft is about patching when there are security issues. Like, if you actually look at studies when there are low-level issues that have been found in multiple OSs, Microsoft gets their patches out insanely fast. So they are really, really good at it. So, in fact, having that attack surface area, so because a lot of people want to attack Windows, they have actually, they have honed that down to a science. So, let's see. Yeah, a lot of people sub to a lot of stuff. So, they get all kinds of sweet emotes when you do that. Jadisku, money comes benefits, exactly. For what is that bot? So this is a bot that's actually a chat bot. It plays games with us. So, let's see. Casting with dirty case, right? A bit anti-defensive. Yeah, Andy, so I don't really want to cast this. One thing I could do is check the type. So if we really wanted to, get some performance out of this, what we could do is we could write a method that would we could write a method that would actually use pattern matching, figure out what the type is, and apply different code depending on that, and that would actually make it so that we could get better performance and use whatever features are actually available given the type that we received in our iList. It's a little confusing, but it would actually remove the need to do a cast, but also allow us to still eke every bit of performance out of that we wanted to. That's actually kind of neat, the Naked Flame. Let's see. Killer Squad. I do not work for Microsoft. I have previously been a Microsoft MVP. I get a lot of free stuff from Microsoft, so I will definitely be transparent about that. But I actually, like 2 years before being a Microsoft MVP, I actually was a Linux developer. I worked primarily in Python and C++, and which is a hilarious thing to say, being a guy that is known for doing a lot of C# and ASP.NET code. I was an ASP.NET MVP for a bunch of years, and I am part of the ASP Insiders group, which is an independent group of experts that are passionate about ASP.NET and other web technologies. And Casru, you figured out Visual Studio from the letter V being the first word in our Hangman game. That's impressive. And Andy, yeah, no, those questions are actually fantastic. I thought they were great. Please continue to ask questions. There are no, never feel bad. No one should feel bad about asking noob questions here. We are all noobs about something, and learning is awesome. So ask away, and I will answer as best I can for these. Okay, so we're going to add those in. Yes, DevChatterBot. Okay, so we are adding in these commands to the list when we do that. So then in bot main, I call setup simple commands. And when I do that, I need to do one extra thing, which is after I do this, I need to say _r simple command setup equals true. Now, I might be breaking some tests when I do this, we'll find out. But I need to stop the bot. Troll questions incoming! Oh, I don't think they will. You'd be So, while this is a Twitch stream, and we do have a lot of the Twitch community, which I love the Twitch community. I'm actually I know you're all going to be surprised by this, but I participate in a lot of gaming streams. So I am actually I'm actually a big fan of a lot of gaming streams. I am subbed to a whole bunch of Twitch streams. Not with this account, but with my personal account. So I could spam all kinds of emotes into chat with you guys, including this one. So I can spam emotes like the best of them here. So hang on while I click a bunch of emotes. Clicking emotes, clicking emotes, clicking emotes. There you go. Have a pile of emotes. Congratulations. So, yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. No, I am not. You're asking me? I'm not from Germany. I speak a very small amount of German and not very well, as I know from going to Germany a bunch of times. I worked for a company that had an office in Munich, and I would stop in the Munich office and work there for a while, and I can tell you my accent's terrible. So I'm not even going to grace you with any rendition of that on stream. It's that bad. It's good that you mentioned that you were transparent with giving free stuff from Microsoft. It reminds me of another streamer who was transparent. I don't actually know what you're talking about, but I can easily go transparent if you like. All I have to do is mess with the settings in my webcam, and then instead of blocking out green screen that's behind me, I could make myself invisible and the green be what's clear. And that'd be weird. I could just be like a silhouette on green. Yeah, I totally missed the reference. I have a little bit of an announcement. Cool, Blub. Anyway, let's see. So, bonk, bonk. Alright, did I run the code? Yes, I ran the code. Did the bot say hi? Hello world, the bot has arrived. Cool. CMD. No. No, I don't see it in there. Okay. Alright, so... I meant to do that. Alright, so it looks like the simple commands are back in there, but things are not quite perfect just yet. Which brings up a question. Why aren't they? Okay, so first off, I'm going to call this hack in the simple commands again. And I really did hack them, and I just kind of forced it in there. I want our DI framework to do that automatically, but for now I want them working. So I'd rather have them working than have it, you know, perfect. Right? There's always time to improve things. If developers wanted the code to be perfect, we could be here for a week working on one thing until we got it perfect, and that's just not the right way to do things. Okay, we don't use this anymore. And we don't use that anymore either. I got rid of both of those recently, I think. Oh, it's not used, I don't think, though. Because we don't have the loop anymore. Nothing like removing unused code, huh? I love removing unused code. Oh, it's the best. Alright, code. Okay, now the reason that code is not used anymore, I am going to give a quick explanation of. Okay, we started using something called Hangfire. So we wrote a new automation system. So our previous automation system worked a little bit differently. So when we wired this one in, Hangfire does things differently. So you'll notice we even have like remnants of our old interface that we're going to nuke because we no longer need them. But I haven't gotten rid of them yet. So they will be disappearing soon. Just need to clean that up. That's why we're still in a branch here, is because we've got incomplete stuff. So I've got my Hangfire branch that we're in here, which actually, now that I think about it, you can see down here. So we're in a special Hangfire branch that's been living a little while, and this is where we switched over how we automate, and because we switched how we automate, we were able to move into ASP.NET Core, so that's why we're running over here. Pseudonymous, yes. I think you get first step, get it working. Worry about refactoring later. Absolutely. SNB, hello, welcome, good afternoon. Yeah. Oh, you found us through YouTube first. That's really cool. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, which this should work now, we actually have a YouTube channel. So if you are new to the stream and you want to see some of our old videos, you can actually find them on YouTube. If you go subscribe to that channel that I just posted in chat, that is a great place to find all of our early videos, which have a lot of the starting points to these projects. So if you want to see why we set things up the way we did, that's a good place to start. And if you want to see any of the other videos that are not yet on YouTube, check here in the videos section. So I don't want to have my videos duplicated in a bunch of places. So what I actually do is I wait until a video is going to leave Twitch, and then I put it on YouTube. So the idea being that there's only one place where any given video is, and it's either on YouTube or on Twitch. So I don't want to have it duplicated. It makes it a little bit easier that way. And Andy, thank you for the follow. I assume that means that you are looking forward to later streams. And for anyone who I didn't mention this to, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. I am planning a, I really ought to mention this to you guys. I am planning to do a, where is it? Twitter, notifications. I am going to do a series on essentially learning to code using C#. So it is going to be an interactive stream where I'm expecting everyone who is in chat to be following along, running VS Code. You don't have to, obviously, but it is recommended that you do. Essentially, we're going to have everyone install VS Code and follow along, and we're going to be doing some simple, like, beginning to program kind of exercises. I think they'll be great for people that know C# but are, new to it, as well as, people entirely new to programming. The goal is that, it's going to be stuff that you can just work on together, that we can all work on together. I'm going to be building it here, you guys are going to be building it there. And my hope is that if you are a more advanced developer, that you're going to expand on whatever we're doing. So if we're doing something simple, you're going to do a more interesting implementation of it, or you're going to finish it sooner and then do cool stuff with it. So experimenting the whole way. So the goal is to make it nice and easy, and that sort of thing. I am going to post a link in chat. One of the things that I want to do related to this is, so this is going to be a series of streams, so each one, you're going to be able to show up to any given one of them, and at the start, be able to just code along. So we're always going to start from a new project running in VS Code. So go ahead and check out that link that I posted in chat there, and let me know what time, like what day would be a better one for you. I'm not going to choose just one day. We're actually going to be doing more than one day. So if Saturday, for example, is the most popular, and Byte Skills, thanks for following. So if Saturday is the most popular, we're not going to do it every time on Saturday. If, we might do Saturday and then we said, like, maybe the other day people like is Monday or something like that. I'm going to base it on the results and prefer those days. So, because I also want to move it around, because I don't want to be like, oh, Saturday's the only day you can attend, but we do the Learn to Codes on Tuesdays, so I'm sorry, you're out of luck. No, that is not the way I like to do things. I like to be inclusive of people. So that's actually why our stream shifts its time a little bit. So I don't know if you all have noticed, but two of my streams start at 2 p.m. my time. One of my streams starts at 1 p.m. my time, and one of my streams starts at noon my time. The whole reason for that is that I want it to shift around a little bit so more people can attend. And yes, Pseudomus, that is totally correct. Even if you are an advanced C# programmer and you already know how to do things, you can improve your C# code both by going back to the basics and making sure you're doing things the way you're wanting to do them, or in addition, something that some people try when coding along with things is to do something in a weird way to help you understand it. I will give an example, actually, because I think this is a cool concept, and I think you guys would find this interesting. So I'm actually going to jump over to our Dallas's GitHub here for a second and go to his Kata catalog, because he's got a pretty good collection here of coding katas. For anyone who doesn't know what a coding kata is essentially a simple program that you could write essentially no matter how far along you are in your experience with a programming language, and the goal is to practice with it. So it is a learning exercise almost. You're doing code that is self-contained. So, for example, if I wanted to do... I didn't want to open that. I'm going to click on this. If I wanted to do, say, the greed kata, essentially this is a kata where you write the scoring method for a dice game. So you roll dice. So essentially the program simulates that dice were rolled, and it tries to evaluate points based on that, and it's got a set of rules. So you write the code that does this. A neat thing that I've actually done as an exercise is I have tried solving this coding kata in a single line of C# code. Not because I think you should. Like, you should never commit code that's like that. Never, ever, ever do that. Don't deploy that to production. Don't do that. But if you want to better understand how the different grouping mechanisms work in LINQ in C#, for example, and you want to understand better lambda expressions, a really good way to do that is to force yourself to use them. So a coding kata is a small-scale place where you can try that out and do that sort of thing. So if you are really advanced and know a lot of features of the language, that is a great way to expand your knowledge of C#, even if you're doing something that would otherwise be simple. Okay, so I just wanted to toss that out there and explain that piece. because I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, yes, Blub. See, Blub's sitting here, I hate when people try to get everything on one line. Like, okay, yes, Blub, I agree. My point wasn't that you'd actually do that and put it in production. My point is that you'd have an understanding of how the group buy works. And welcome, Martin Does Stuff. Thanks for following. There it is. What a lovely day. Okay, so that code should work. Hi. That was my best impression of the Hey Guys emote. Alright, so that code works. Here's the code that doesn't work. So we have our simple commands again, so I can now tell you guys that all the code that we have here is out on GitHub, so if you actually do want to check out any of the code that we do on stream, you can go to github.com/devchatter. You can star the projects, you could fork the projects, you can send us pull requests, you can suggest features, tell us about bugs, other things like that. It's all on our GitHub, and you can find that over here. When you go to that URL, you get to this place. Our main project is our bot, but we also have Game Tracker and Rock, Paper, Scissors, Boom, and there's information about those on our README pages. And then in addition, I can also tell people that we have a Discord chat, which is a chat program commonly used by gamers, and it's also used by a lot of Twitch streamers. You can check out our Discord. It actually does have some discussions on it, so there are active people on our Discord, which I know is weird for a Discord, but you are all welcome to join either of those and participate if you like, outside of the stream, or during it if you like. Flame, you've messed around with ASP.NET MVC for a while now, and you still can't wrap your head around it. The concept of MVC? Yeah, so, I guess I can explain a lot about that. I'm probably not going to dive too much into it today, but, yeah, we can definitely help you understand MVC a little bit better. I will try to see if there is a way that I can have a stream that will delve into ASP.NET MVC pretty clearly. Now, some people in chat are probably wondering, well, hang on, aren't you on, like, Core now? Why would you do MVC? And the short answer to that one is, so I'm using ASP.NET Core, and we're using Razer Pages as the way that we do our view engine. So Razer Pages is this. I have front-end code, which is, think standard markup, Razer markup, and a back-end C# file that is a page model that is bound to that. Now, before anyone runs away, this is not web forms, so it's not that. This is not like a code behind in that. This is a file that is kind of like the code behinds were there, but we don't have the bad stuff. There's no state, so there's no view state. There's none of that stuff. There's no page life cycle. That doesn't exist. This is actually a really nice, not very coupled piece. It is cohesive, and it is nice to use. But underneath the hood, it works the same way that MVC does. So, in fact, you'll notice Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC Razer Pages. So, Razer Pages are actually a layer built on MVC. So, we actually still have access to it. So, I can include controllers in this project if I like, and do MVC right in here. Anthony, I really appreciate that. That is really, really nice of you to say. Thank you. And SNB, you can still use MVC in ASP.NET Core, though. Yes, exactly, as SNB said. Yep, I could make a folder right here called controllers. I could load it up with controllers and use ASP.NET MVC right in here, no problem. It'd be ASP.NET Core MVC. Which is technically the same-ish, different-ish, don't worry about it, it works the same way. Oh, Kazru, you worked with web forms. Yeah, so, funny thing is, we all hate on web forms, but you could actually, so, a lot of the problems were our own fault in some ways. I'm going to take credit for that. I wrote some bad code there, too. I wrote some good web forms code, but I wrote some bad web forms code. I think we all did. It just depended on how you used it. Because of the way it was written, you had to be more careful with your dependencies than you do with MVC. So it's harder to mess up MVC. I recently started your first ASP.NET project using the single page application feature, and I'm loving it. Oh, yeah, Blub. If you start off with a SPA one, it's really nice, and you can integrate JavaScript frameworks really well with ASP.NET Core. Yes, Parathon, exactly. Core's Razer Pages has the best of both worlds. It gives you the loose coupling of MVC, but gives you the cohesiveness of having essentially a code behind file. I am a huge, huge fan of how this works. So, I really should at some point just do a stream someday where we just start out a basic project and we just talk about how ASP.NET works. I think that would be a good one. I should put that on our backlog. Someone do me a favor and request that on our stream info. So head over to our stream info, hop into the issues section, and create an issue in here suggesting a stream like that or something. That is a useful way to do that. So, and keep in mind you can all run the GitHub command. It doesn't just have to be me typing that in chat. Everyone has permission to run that. Okay, so we set up our simple commands here. We added them to the command handler. But what I noticed is this. When we set these up, they did not actually get listed in either of those list of commands. S&B. It is interesting that using the page model challenged my MVC thinking, and I ended up with more of a straightforward solution as a result. Makes sense. Kasru, you were thrown into a job with no prior C# and ASP.NET knowledge, and those web forms code behind... Yes, so my first exposure to C# was actually ASP.NET Web Forms also, Kasru. And I gotta say, I do still like C# even having that as my first experience with C#. You can understand the concern there. However, I don't think everybody, at least it wasn't VB. Actually, my first exposure to web forms was VB code also, and I'd used ASP.NET. Sorry, not ASP Classic. So Classic ASP, I'd actually used that before too, and in that one I did use VB. It's a fine language, right? Like I like C# better, but like VB's not as bad as you know everybody says. It really isn't. Yeah, Kasru, it's nice. We still have web forms and the views cannot be updated, so updating a website is huge trouble because you can hit... no content, that is... So one of the challenges is, as developers, we often want to go in and we want to say like, yeah, let's go replace everything with the new stuff. But realistically, from a company's perspective, there's no budget to go in and... just rewrite the code for the sake of using the new stuff and getting rid of the old bad code. It's way too costly. And I apologize for drinking a Coke Zero on stream, everyone. I know everyone's disappointed, but I had it and I was drinking it. Our Slack bot is set up so that any mention of VB is treated like... Yes. VB is a swear word in your chat, S&B. And S&B, out of curiosity, is your name an allusion to like an asset from German? Just guessing. Might be totally unrelated. Which one do you prefer, and why do you like it more? ASP.NET Core MVC or with Pages? So I like Pages better for most things, but I actually like the combination of the two best. So, that is actually a simple answer. Oh, SNB. Oh, hey, that's cool. I like it, SNB. Yeah, that works too. So, here's what I mean. So, for all the simple things, like I have a page, I actually do really like the the page model idea of Razer Pages. So in like almost every circumstance, this is how I'm going to set it up. However, if I need to call anything that isn't explicitly a page, so I need to take an action of some kind. For example, maybe I want to have a partial view on my page somewhere that performs some kind of an action. So like I want to show a little widget box somewhere, and I want that loaded server side and displayed on my pages somewhere, and so that's going to be this tiny little section somewhere, and it's going to do some kind of an action. I'm probably going to wire that up to talk to a controller, not talk to an actual page. So the reason for that is that I don't want to be tied to the page. I want to be tied to the concept of whatever that does, because it feels more like a cross-cutting concern, if that makes sense. If I didn't get clear on that answer, then let me know and I can clarify more. But that's why I point out that I like the combination. If I had to choose just one, I would probably favor Razer Pages right now. I've only been using it for a little while, but I just noticed what people said in chat. Yeah, Kasru, he's the Swiss National Bank. Become sentient. You didn't know that that a bank could become sentient? Okay, so here is what I want to change. So our command messages come in and get assigned to this, and we treat it as an iList of bot command. But since it is a command list and it is one of those, I am going to set this value to be a command list. I want to see if we get any other benefit from it being a command list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say command messages. Actually, I'm going to go look at the command list. Now that I think about it, let's take a look at its type. You're not going to jump me to the top here? There we go. Command list. Takes in a list and sets its value, get a numerator, add, adds, clear, clears. And I want to find references to this. Where was it in startup? Add a singleton of one of these. Is this in the startup of the web project? Yes. Okay, so we wanted to have one list of commands. The reason we need a singleton is because we need to make sure that across requests there's always only one of this. So the entire lifetime of this web project, we want to have just one, because we don't want to reload it every time. So because it needs to be constant, like we have a handful of things in this project that need to be constantly running. So that's why these are set up this way. So if this is running here and we have botlet, so we have all the bot commands in here, and then we also add in those other ones later. Since this should be that same command list used everywhere, we should be able to get away with that. Let me take a look though. Where are the other references to command list? So it's used here, obviously. The command handler has one. That's the one we were using. At startup, it creates a new one as a singleton. And then that's it. Okay, so iList of bot command is what I want to look for then instead. So inside of the commands command, it has one of these. Ah, we put that in there. I found out why this didn't work. We didn't include this as part of the service list, so we didn't register them as the services. So here's what we have to do instead. We need to go back to startup. We're going to do this a little bit differently. So remember I said make it work and then make it right. This is where we're going to make it more right. It's not going to be right yet, but it should be more right. Okay, so I want to set up simple commands. Let's pass in services. And do I have the repository already? Yes. Okay. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to make a method out of this. Then I am going to go to the command handler. It should have set up simple commands, which I no longer need. Then I go here. I no longer need that. And then in bot main where we called it, I don't need to call it either. But what I am going to do is steal this code, and by steal I mean move. So we're going to put this in the right place now. So we have confirmed that as long as it gets the data, our code works as we expect it to. So I am going to use this repository to get all of our commands out of the database. So these are our database-driven commands. We call them simple commands. So these are things like, you know, a link to our YouTube channel. Sorry, I did something that caused the bot to close. So I'll turn it back on in a second. We should welcome the sentient bank overlords. Yes, that's unlikely to happen. I'm sorry. Anyone who is still in education, make sure to check out the Student Developer Pack from GitHub. Oh, actually, Flame, that is a really good suggestion. Microsoft also has a lot of really good stuff for students, as do a lot of tech companies. So definitely check into what student offerings are from companies, because if you are a student somewhere, you can get a lot of things for crazy cheap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to, for each simple command, I'm going to wire this up as a... so I'm going to say services dot, and then we're going to say add, and yes, all of our commands, the way that we set them up, do need to run this way. They are ibot commands, and it is going to be simple command that we put in there. So once we put all these into our services, so we pulled them out of the database, and we're going to shove them each in there. That should make everything else work. Let's find out. I'm going to make sure that I've killed the website. So website will be dead, like super dead. And then I'm going to run it again. You actually get Microsoft Imagine with GitHub SDP, at least some Azure stuff. Yeah, so if you can get free Azure credit to be able to run stuff, that is super, super nice. So full transparency, my Azure site I don't pay for. Microsoft actually gives that Azure account to me, the one that we used on stream when we had Maxime. We had Max on the stream. Is that even running? No, it's not running. So we had Max on the stream a while back, and when he was here, we did a bunch of stuff on my Azure account. And in terms of transparency, I don't pay for that Azure account, so Microsoft gives that one to me for free. It has a small amount of credit each month, so it's not like a huge, like, oh man, like, oh geez, massive sponsor. It's like, no. It's just a small thing, and it's actually totally unrelated to the stream. Okay. The bot said hello. Hi, bot. Welcome. All of our stuff is out there. Yes. Yes! Success! That is what I call a victory right there. Okay, could you do that as an extension method of off of services and thus preserve the... Yeah, S&B, we will. Remember the thing we said. Make it work, then make it right. I was not able to find a way to get that, but I can host some stuff on AzureWebsites.net domain. Oh, very cool, Kazru. Personally, I could care less what sponsors... That means nice education videos. Yes, Andy, exactly. Yep. I agree. I actually have had some companies talk to me about wanting to sponsor the stream. And I may take them up on some of those offers, but only if I actually like their products. There's a company that's been wanting me to be a sponsor, like to sponsor the stream for a while, yeah, Andy, that is correct. Good fix there. I knew what you meant. People don't people don't say that one correctly. That phrase. So okay. So this code works, so that's fantastic. That means that what we can get away with is this. So, where is my GitHub window? There it is. Move, simple commands, set up to startup. And I highly recommend doing little commits like these, just as you go. Don't wait till the end and make big commits. As developers, we're all going to run into that a lot of times where we accidentally kept stuff around too long. Try to avoid it if you can. Okay, so here's what we need to do. I, for now, am going to make... Ooh, where can I get away with putting this? For now, I'm going to put it here, and we'll decide if we can move it. Extensions. So...
what a day! What a lovely day!
Service collection extensions. Alright, I'm gonna guess Sealer. Welcome, thanks for following. Taking a guess on the pronunciation there. Maybe I'm wrong, because that could be a hard or a soft C. Welcome to English. And I don't know what language that is, so I have to take a guess. But what I want to do is this. This is going to be a public eye service collection. Do thing. I'll figure out the name in a second. This eye service collection services. Not for Benny. Wow. I hopefully I got that name right, but welcome, thanks for following. And if I butcher anybody's name, just tell me. Don't be shy about it. I will attempt to fix however I'm pronouncing it if I'm messing up your name, even if I've been doing it for weeks. Not implemented exception for now. We're gonna put that in there. Throw new, not implemented exception. Public static, that, do thing, this. There we go, okay. Now I need to figure out what I actually want to call on it. So yes, I am going to leave it as do thing for now. Don't kill me, please. Okay, so one reference, it's right up here. And I want to say, we're going to rename it, don't worry. Do thing. There we go. There's do thing. So in order to do thing, I think we need to give it to the repository. So it needs repository, so we're going to add that parameter. So now when I go back to do thing, it has the repository in here as well. So the service collection and repository. And now we're talking about student benefits. JetBrains give students free ReSharper. Oh, I didn't know they gave free ReSharper now. It used to be just discounted ReSharper. I used to suggest that to people that were still in college. I love ReSharper, but getting a lot of complaints from VS 2017 that it's slowing it down. Yes, SNB. So I run like I run a nice beefy desktop computer here, and Visual Studio is always telling me like, ReSharper's slowing you down. I'm like, dude, I can't tell it's slowing me down. Like, it's fast. What are you complaining about? Microsoft, why are you fighting a war with JetBrains? I don't know why you're so pissed off at them, but please stop for the sake of all of us. Okay, I want to hop down here. Where's that method? Right here. So we're going to pull this out of here, put it over here. and goodbye to this. Okay, so over here, we're going to have all these show up. So that's services, do thing, repository, and then down here, return services. Okay. I'm not really using it, but I see everybody using it. Yeah, so with all things, use the tools that you like. Can we include ReSharper tips and tricks in the C# introduction streams? Oh, Kazru, yeah, I can definitely give some tips on using ReSharper, and actually, with any of those tools, there's actually a tip that I will give you that doesn't really have to do with those tools, and is actually just a common thing that's useful for programmers that we forget about. And the reason we forget about it is because we love our screens. Every once in a while, it's useful to print something on, like, it's this crazy stuff. It's called paper. They used to use it back in, like, the, early 2000s. And what you do is you use a printer, and you print onto that paper. It uses ink or toner or something like, one of those, and it's actually going to put text on that paper. And include. All right. So all kidding aside, what I actually recommend printing out is print out a key map of shortcuts. So, for example, you will often see me do things like this: new list of ibot command, right? And I'm going to do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a keyboard shortcut Control-Alt-V as in variable, and then I suddenly have a variable. And, right, so like I just know that I can do this kind of stuff. And then there are other things like I might have a string, foo, right? And this is a string that I've got. And then what I realize, wait a minute, I want this to be a field, right? So I can do Control-Alt-D for a field, and it makes that a field, and boom, it's a field. And so I know all these keyboard shortcuts because early on, I kept a piece of paper sitting around, yes, printed piece of paper, that had shortcuts listed on it. And every time I'd do a thing, I'd be like, oh, is there a way I can do this with a shortcut instead? And I'd look on the sheet and I'd be like, oh, yeah, there's extract this, there's that. And then you do it, and eventually you learn those. I want to get it. Born in the late 90s, and you only know half those words and technologies. Yes, Kazru, a printer. Yes, it's like a gramophone. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay, so do thing needs a better name. So I'm going to call this, what is this? This is going to be register simple commands. Or no, it's going to be add simple commands from database. From repository. I don't care where they didn't have to be the database. Okay, so that's what it's going to be. Add simple commands from repository. Let's look at what this looks like in the startup now. So services.add simple commands from repository. That looks good. Bot's going to get a restart here because I want to build a new version of it. So we're going to do this. Rebuild again and then start it up. Have you thought about using Karnak or equivalent to show the shortcut keys? Parathon, I have actually thought about that. I probably will do that because of how many keyboard shortcuts we use here. So it's likely, Parathon. Okay, so bot should be back in here. Let's try command. So they're in here. So lurk should work. Crimson should work. Uptime should work. SO. C# Fritz. So big old shout out to C# Fritz for hosting us today. Big old shout out to Visual Studio for hosting us today. No, I'm not ending the stream. I was just doing some shout outs to test that our commands are working. So, looks like our commands are all working. So I am going to get us a commit here. Wonk. Alright, so this is add simple commands to repository. Yeah, okay, so move simple command registration to static to extension. Visual Studio. Yeah, so no content. It is. I'm sure it was Fritz that set it up. I'm not sure what Microsoft's planning on doing with that one. But I am hoping that that their intention is to actually be community supportive on that one. So I'm hoping I can have some involvement with that, but I don't know. Haven't talked with them about it. But feel free to clip this so that they know that I'm interested. As far as I know, the Visual Studio account has not streamed once yet. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. SNB, 24-hour programming stream would be ridiculous. Oh, and I should mention, I was talking with some people yesterday, specifically Ardalis and Saduki, which some of you might know. They are Microsoft MVPs. Steve, so Ardalis, his name is Steve. He is also a Microsoft regional director. They're pretty awesome people. We've had both of them on stream before, and I was talking with them about being guests on our special event stream, which doesn't have a date yet. However, for anyone that doesn't know, as like a celebration of our achievements so far in the channel, I was going to plan a special event stream, and I've got some ideas for those, including possibly doing either a workshop or doing some kind of interesting programming competition. And I've got some ideas for what we could do for that. If we don't do one of those ideas, it might just be panel discussions where we're going to have a group of developers who are experts in different technologies talking about those technologies. But Saduki and Ardalis have both confirmed that they would be willing to participate in that. So that is Sarah and Steve. So feel free to check them out as well. They're both awesome. Hopefully Twitch will actually promote community streams now. Yeah, no content. Good luck with that one. I think Twitch probably only promotes partner streams. Which do you use the most on, Azure App Service or VM? That is a good question. I use a lot of both. MTC743 in terms of your Azure question there. But I probably use more app services than I do VMs. I've had occasion to use more VMs than I wish that I did. Okay, so jumping back into this, we got that code working. I am thrilled that is back up and running, so it seems like that aspect of the bot is good. So the next thing that I want to tackle is I need a way for the bot to be able to restart itself without me having to restart the app. Because right now, if the bot dies, I can do nothing except restart it. And my other concern is that changing stuff in the site knocks it down. So I think Visual Studio is stepping in and saying, oh, hey, you did stuff. Let me just fix that for you. But I need an on-off switch for the bot. And the reason I want an on-off switch is if I can get those, I can deploy the bot somewhere. And it doesn't just have to be running locally. So I could say throw it out on the web. So if we're working on the bot, I could turn off the one that I have hosted somewhere, and we can turn on the one that we're running locally, and it'd be like what we're doing today. But then if we're working on another project, I can still have the bot in chat running out on that hosted platform. So probably Azure, but we'll see about that when we get there. So that means we need some way to actually make run and stop work. So for those of you that don't know how this is running, I configured this. So this is essentially the way a hosted service works. So this interface is part of ASP.NET Core, and essentially hosted services So managed by the host means that my website is going to manage this thing, and it's actually going to start it up automatically. So when my site starts, it's going to call start a sync for me. So the only thing that actually, and you'll notice nothing calls this, there's 0 references. I know that's kind of small and hard to read there, but there are no references to this code. So nothing calls anything in here. The way that this works is, where is it? Inside the startup, we told it that our background worker is a hosted service. And so what it does is when the site starts up, it automatically creates this object and runs it for us. So it's actually really, really cool. Let me make sure that we are all committed here. I think we are. So I want to do a little bit of cleanup because I want to have that on-off button, but before we get to that, I want to make sure that this code is ready to get merged into the master branch. So first things first, I need to find out if we're using this module anymore. I don't believe we are. So I want to get rid of it. So goodbye module. Hang on while I give it a minute to catch up.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Twitchmk, thank you for the tier 1 sub, much appreciated. Welcome, please enjoy your DevChatter hype emote. DevChahype. There you go. Very nice, yeah. I've only had a small amount of drop frames on my end, so yes, and I hope everyone enjoyed Bill and Steve dancing for our entertainment as that subscribe came in. Let's see. So we got rid of that. Everything should still build. I think we can... so I'm going to slowly start getting rid of those modules because we're no longer using autofac. Now keep in mind that because we use source control, I still have that stuff, so I'm not terribly worried about it. So I'm going to jump over here, and I want to get rid of this module because we don't need it anymore. And then I want to look in here. There isn't one. Look down here, and here's one. So we're going to get rid of that module. So autofac modules should now basically be gone, which means that I can get rid of autofac. So cleaning up dependencies. Everybody's favorite. Where's autofac? Is it not even in here? Are you kidding me? Oh, right. I was in updates, not installed. Autofac, there it is. So I want to remove it from those projects, so we are going to uninstall autofac. Have fun going back to work, TwitchMK. And if you are going to lurk, there is a lurk command. Oh, but the bot's not running because I'm running this right now. So, so you can't do the lurk command right now. And I will tell you that if we, well, when, because we will eventually, but when we eventually hit partner here on Twitch, we are going to get a lurk command, a lurk emote almost certainly. So, whoops, I can't do it from that account. Sorry, I meant to do this. That one. So that is one of my favorite lurk emotes. Because it's just a little weird guy. It's a little raccoon dude behind the thing. No content. Yes, ReSharper does have a remove unused references, but it occasionally gets references that are used. So that's one of the reasons why I run it very cautiously. So I will run it sometimes, but I use it as an exploratory measure. I want it to actually find the ones for me that it suspects are unused, and then I can intelligently tell which ones aren't. Because there are a couple of things that will trick it. If things are only used at runtime, for example, it can't always detect that. So that's the problem, is if it's only a runtime, it can't always tell. So we need to nuke autofac from this. That's fine. In fact, I want to remove this whole project, so we're going to remove that. Because we are no longer a console application, we are now a web app. Congratulations on leveling up from console app to web app, everyone. There we go, and it builds. Next step is going to be this one. I want to open folder in Explorer, and I'm actually going to fully delete that bot project from it. And save everything, really save. Rebuild. I just want to make sure that this runs fine. We still have more cleanup to do. We're going to delete more code. Oh man, whoops, I forgot about that. Yeah, totally need to fix that. That is a problem. No one realized what just happened, but I know. Okay, let me explain. DevChatterBot bot configuration. Okay, here's the deal. This right here, I know it's kind of small and hard to tell right there. Let me see how well you guys can see that. It's not hidden behind chat window. This has a different icon. It has a very slightly different icon than the C# files around it. That's because this is actually included from elsewhere. So, what I want to do is this. I want to remove it, and I am going to extract it from its new place from its old place to the new one. The reason why is that we were using the exact same file in both projects. So in our console app and in our web app, we were using the same file. So here's something you may not know that you can do in .NET projects. I can add a new item, and you probably never noticed this before. Or no, not add new item, add existing item. Sorry, what am I doing? Add existing item. So I want to add an existing file that's in the system. And the thing I want you to notice is on this add right here, there is a little down arrow on this add button. If you click that, it has add as link as an option. And what that'll actually do is that will make it so that it actually just includes a link to that other file, so you can use the exact same file in two projects. It's really a crazy feature, and only comes up for a very rare circumstance, and is often only temporary. But it works okay for like settings files sometimes and things like that you want to have actually be 100% the same. They are the same file. So it's a neat trick that you can do. Okay, so we just pulled that file over, and then I want to delete the rest of that folder, so we no longer need the bot folder at all. This should be deletion of all of that stuff. Let me go ahead and build again just to make sure that it really does still work. Okay. Now, in order to actually confirm that things still run, we're going to restart the bot and give it a try. So, running the bot again. As long as this web page comes up, we should be good. Brr, hang on. Sometimes it doesn't like when I really nuke IIS Express. There it goes. Lurk. GitHub. So all of our stuff is on GitHub. You can find videos on YouTube. You can chat with us after the fact on Discord. Look at that, our commands are working. And our stream has been live for 1 hour and 35 minutes. That's right, only 1 hour and 35 minutes. We did start a little late today. I had some technical issues with my webcam that I had to get sorted first. Because obviously you're all here to see my face, not the code. Who cares about the code? Come on. I think we all know why you're here. Sheesh. It's crazy talk. Okay, so looks like this code still runs even without our old stuff, so this will be remove autofac and the console app. Oh, man. Removing the console app, that's crazy. Oh, you're here for the code? What? What? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Alright, no, I know you're all here for the code, so being able to see that's more important than being able to see me, but I can tell you from having watched a lot of streams before, when you can actually see the person who's hosting the stream, it is actually a lot nicer, because the face-to-face communication aspect makes it a lot clearer. So you can tell when I'm talking, and you can tell what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, things like that, whereas if I'm just silent sometime, you'd be like, is he thinking? Did he step away? Is, like, what's going on? So, it works out well. Okay, so we removed that whole project. Nice. Lots of viewers won't stick around with no face cam, just part of stream. Exactly, Martin. Yep, that is completely correct. As sad as it is, if you don't have a face cam, you better already have a loyal following. So, I could probably get away with it here, just because there are enough regulars in the chat. Okay, so we got that running. This is not ready to merge in. However, what I want to do is this. I want to get some people discussing this. So I want some of our regulars, some of our other... oh, we need to merge. Hang on. Hang on. Before I do that. Can't do that yet. So I'm going to check out the master branch. So we are now on the master branch. I'm going to pull to make sure I have latest on it, which I do. Now I'm going to jump back to the Hangfire botting branch. So we're back over here. I'm going to merge the master branch in.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Bisophily, welcome, thanks for following, and I apologize for butchering your name. But if you tell me how to pronounce it, I will try to get it right. Some streams are better without face cam, some aren't, depends on the streamer. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. Automatic merge fails, fix conflicts, and then commit the result. Yeah, of course, we knew there were conflicts, that's why we're running into this. Okay, so let me search for where the conflict is. What? Are you kidding me? I am really confused why there's a jQuery thing. I kind of want to just go fix this file. What project are we on? This is... Yeah. And that actually didn't... I think that really is like a jQuery merge thing, so I'm going to go mess with that. I don't know how that got in there. So net core app 2.1. So... blub. Yes. Hang on while I drink my Pepsi and wait. There we go. Much better. Yep. Delicious, delicious stuff right there. I would never bow to a sponsor. I mean, it's like people only do things because they get paid to do them, you know? That was a joke. Okay, oh, www root, where was that file? lib jquery dist jquery min. JS, whoops, nope, lib jquery dist. Let's take a chance. Open in File Explorer. Let me grab these. Copy them over into that folder. No way that'll cause problems. Yeah, it's like, it'd be like talking about Azure because Microsoft doesn't, see, the stupid part is Microsoft doesn't even really sponsor me. I should talk to them about that. Maybe I should get them as a sponsor. I'm still waiting on that Pepsi sponsorship, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't be promoting Pepsi before they sponsor me, but you know, as they say, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. Why aren't I dressed as like a superhero or something then? What am I doing? Oh right, I'm dressed as a programmer. Hey Visual Studio, you hear that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Visual Studio should sponsor me. What are they thinking? I mean, if this isn't like promoting Visual Studio, I don't know what is. Alright, so maybe that works. Alright, so the app settings thing is the other piece that has an issue. So this one apparently has a problem because when we looked over here, what have I done? Oh, that was the bot one. Oh, that's a good question. What did we add? Apologize, everybody. I'm going to pop this up on the other screen and take a look. I'm not sure what changed, to be honest, so I'm not going to worry about it. So, I am actually going to delete that. Source. So I'm going to delete source DevChatterBot/appsettings.json. How did all those get modified? I'm confused, guys. That doesn't make sense. Is that really all the changes from that? Okay, so we merged in that, we got those, we got this. Okay, just confirming this stuff. Alright, I think those are fine. Okay. So that'll be all the changes that we just pulled in from the master branch. Now that we have those, we can go ahead and do our pull request on GitHub. So if we hop back over here, I'm doing this pull request not because I want this code to be merged in right now, but because I want to draw attention to it. moving code to web project. Moving bot to web project. Okay, I will assign myself to this because I need to look at this. I want to get help wanted on this. People need to pay attention to this one. Did I have a project for this? No. Did I have a milestone for this? Web app. There we go. Okay. So 42 files changed, so this is not a small merge. This is a fairly significant one, but this is like moving to the web project from the bot. So we are totally getting rid of the console application, moving everything over here. So big one, but should work well. Oh, those can go away. Why did I commit those like that? Alright, let's do a little bit more cleanup while we're in here then. Cool. Alright, let's call that good on that bot today. Oh, I need to get it running because I just did the merge. Let me get the bot going again. There we go. Hello, bot. Welcome. Let's start up a hangman game while we wait. Link some stuff in chat to draw people's attention to it. And then, good job, no content. Yes, our lurk button works just fine. I want to start on, I want to work on another one of our projects. So we spent a good amount of time on the chatbot today. That's the majority of what we were working on. But I do want to touch our other ones because I think they are fun. Oh, I have news, everyone. I have news that I want to mention. https:// I promise I've typed before on a keyboard once or twice. DevChatter.com. It needs updating, but look, it's DevChatter.com. It works-ish, kinda. It still needs more work, but it's here. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. So we need to actually do stuff with it, but this is actually running as a static site using YMIO, and it's actually also using the Microsoft static site preview in Azure. So the Azure preview of static sites is actually what is hosting this right now. So hosted on Azure, generated by YM on June 17th, it looks like. Yes, I know, no content, I'm aware, I need to get that fixed. That's why I typed my dub, because it is currently required. This, as he points out, this one doesn't work. You can blame the way that I have to set that up. It's a preview on Azure, so we don't have an easy way to get it to work otherwise, so once they get that as a full feature and not just in a preview, I'm really hoping they let me actually get more control of that. We'll see though. I like that they're adding it in. I think it's a good thing. I do want to promote more people using static sites. For anyone that doesn't know what a static site is, there are actually a lot of them. You've probably heard of Jekyll also. What? Jekyll static site. There we go. The reason you've heard of this one is it's actually the one GitHub uses. It's written in Ruby, if I remember. Yeah, Jekyll RB. So it's not the one that we use here. We use YM. We like this one for a variety of reasons. One of those being that it's fairly flexible and written in .NET, so we actually can write C# code to customize it and change its pipeline, which is fun. and it is getting converted to run in .NET Core, so it'll be able to run everywhere, Windows, Linux, etc., etc., very nicely, actually. And it's fairly customizable, so we like it. It lets us do neat stuff. What was I planning on doing? I was planning on messing around with rock, paper, scissors, boom. So, while we are here, let's go ahead and open up that project. So, for anyone who doesn't know, our rock, paper, scissors, boom project is a competition app that we're building that you and anyone else can compete in. We were working on it in the last stream. Those are just things I was clicking while I was going around. We'll get those later. Rock, paper, scissors, boom. This should have some... Yeah. We're in the data storage branch, because we were in the middle of that. And I believe we did not merge that in yet. Data storage, still there, yep. Oh, but there is an open pull request for it, so let's take a look. So this is what we did recently. And while I look through this code, I am going to explain to you all how this project works. So essentially the idea is that when you use this project, you are going to be writing your own version. Welcome, Temp. Thanks for following. You're going to be writing your own bot. And by bot, I mean competitor to compete in a game of rock, paper, scissors. Oh, sorry. Welcome, Corvin. And then welcome, Temp. Thank you both for following. Much appreciated. So you will create your bot and it will compete. Competition in this case means that you are going to have your bot face off against every other bot. So you'll play one match against each bot that is in the game. The bots will be other competitors. Whoa! I'm sorry, S&B. I apparently have something wrong with my coins. I will look into that. There you go, S&B. There you go, fixed. Hey Temp, welcome. Okay, so as I was saying, your bot will face off against every other bot that's in the system. A match against a bot consists of playing 1,000 rounds of... yes, no content, that's actually the idea. You're going to fork the bot and write your own, and you will hopefully make changes to it to make it so your bot's better than mine. And then you can say, you know, I made this. You made this? I made this. And no, Blub, I don't mean the rock, paper, scissors in chat, but yes, that is... so the idea is that it's not a standard game of rock, paper, scissors, because you're going to play 1,000 rounds against every other opponent, but obviously you'd say, well, isn't that just random? And it would be, except that we have included a couple of other options. So instead of just having rock, paper, and scissors as options, we've also included dynamite. So dynamite is where the boom comes from in rock, paper, scissors, boom. Dynamite will defeat rock, paper, and scissors, so it is better than all of the original options. However, because it is so powerful, we limit the number of times that you may use it. In your 1,000 rounds that you play against each other bot, you can only use it 100 times. And to top it off, in order to defeat dynamite, you have to throw a water balloon. So water balloon is the 5th option that you're actually able to use in here. Galakith, I have not yet added my specs command, but I will be. And I'm going to give you the specs on the computer that I use for development. So do return, and that command will get created at some point. That is actually one of the issues that someone has requested, that I add a specs command to the bot. And I mean the chat bot in this case. So, water balloon, however, is going to lose to all of the original ones. So rock, paper, and scissors all defeat water balloon. So it's dangerous to throw a water balloon. You only want to throw it if you suspect that your opponent's going to throw dynamite. So you want to be careful with that one. So the trick in the competition is figuring out how to beat the other bots most efficiently. And I can tell you there's something to be said for being smart about it, because let me go ahead and run the current state of the bot while I continue to review this code. So this is one of my bots right there, but if I go to run the game and I click this button, it'll actually go and have all these bots face each other and come back with the results. You'll notice that a couple of the bots do much better than the other ones. And the reason for that is that they're a lot smarter about what they do. So smart, clever bot, signals, that they all do, that all three of those do a similar style of logic. So because it's open source, you can all look at what I did for those. But they're fairly smart. But I think all of you can probably write stuff that's smarter than those bots, because I just did those on a whim real quickly on stream. So I think you all can beat those. But we'll see. That's part of what the competition's for. For now, we're just building the system that's going to let us run them. Okay, that's just the migration there. Okay, and then that's changing those, which no longer need names, IDs. Okay, looks good. I guess it makes no sense to approve my own changes, huh? So we're going to jump back to the pull request, and I am going to merge this in. Someone is going to kill me for doing that, but I'm going to do it. Merge it in, clicky, 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 delete. Alright, next step. When we fetch, it'll notice that that branch is no longer out there. We're going to switch over to the master branch, pull this in. Fast forwarding, and there we go. We should now be on the exact same code we were before, but now it is that code on the master branch. So there we go. Hello and welcome. Okay, so we just merged that in. Allow our user to allow competitors to return a message with decision. Okay, so those results that we displayed, let me go ahead and bring that up again. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Run the game. So right here, you'll notice when I load this page, it actually has the list of results already, and it didn't actually have to do that. We're storing this in the database, so we stored the previous run. This is essentially run everything again and get a new set of results. So if I were to refresh this page, I can click the refresh button a whole bunch of times. Reloads the same data every time rather than rerunning it. But if I click this button, this actually goes and does the competition again. So now we have new results. You'll notice the results changed. So they're not exactly the same every time because there's elements of randomness to this. So, I mean, I'm sure you could figure that out with a bot called Rando Carician. There's a little bit of randomness. Okay, so the thing that I want to add is the ability to add new bots. I want to do that with logged in users. I also want to be able to save this data. So let's see if we can't figure out how to do all that. So, app db context right here. We have competitors, we have bot records, and we have game records. I think the game records might be what we need. Game date, bot records. No, the game record was the set. Got it. So we're grabbing the latest game record, grabbing all the bot records that are associated with it. So in fact, do we even need this? First game record, game record. Does a game record has a list of bot records? Interesting. So here's what I'm going to do. Bot records equals bot rankings. By doing this, I'm going to make it so that that collection contains all of it. Has anyone tried any cross-platform UI frameworks like Avalonia UI? I actually haven't tried that one. Although I am really hoping that Microsoft is going to announce a like an official first-party from Microsoft .NET Core cross-platform UI framework. I know that there are some other ones out there. I want to try some of them, but I'm really hoping Microsoft will take the lead on this and do it. Yeah, Retro Bear. I think it's an awesome thing to do. Yeah, I'm hoping they will too. I have not tried Avalonia yet, but I was thinking about trying it on stream. People have been mentioning it for a while. That's awesome, Blub. Good feedback on that. Okay. So now we have that. So by adding that collection onto this object, because it's a reference to this, when it adds them down here, they're going to be in this collection as well. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to actually, like, first party, like, straight up use this thing. So I'm going to say, like, this dot bot records. I can really invest in that. Lycan1534, welcome. Thanks for following. Hopefully you are having a great day, just like the rest of us. Retro Bear, I would love to hear how that goes. If you are willing to give us feedback after you try that, I would love to hear what you think of it. So instead of using a bot record, I'm going to use a game record here in our runner result. Now this is going to break in a bunch of places. So game record, because we're not going to have what that's looking for. But I'm going to lean on the compiler here and go fix wherever it says. So that we can get that. So we're going to say game record dot bot records, and then game record bot records any. Actually, I don't think we care. I think we want to store it regardless. So we just want to say add that, which should do that also, I think. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't know what it caught you on there, Blub. One-time callback change, limit, hang fire. Oh, Blub. Yeah. I might need to look into those. But thank you for the feedback. There's definitely a bug there. And Navy SEALs what? Welcome, thanks for following. Okay, so the change I just made here is I used to grab this value, add it in, and use the underlying pieces and add them in as well. I think we can get away with not specifying them here, and just by adding the game record that has those values, I think that it is going to automatically save those changes as well, and we will find out. So we're going to say game record.bot records should be that, and then we're going to say game record.bot records should be that, and then down here we're going to say game record equals game record. So, and in fact, since we're building this way, I'm just going to have this automatically new that up. For anyone who hasn't seen this, with auto properties in C#, you can actually assign a value like this, and that is actually the same as doing it in the constructor, effectively. So it's a nice trick. So if you want to set an auto properties value, you can actually just assign now, just like this. It's a very cool trick if you haven't done it yet. It's also very clear. Anybody that saw that code would be like, oh yeah, I get that. I know what that means. So new language feature that does not add complexity. So big fan of that. Oops. Game record. Game record. Right there. Where did this equals new that? We don't need that anymore. I just did this code. So we're going to do that. We no longer need to set that value because it's automatically going to give us a list. We're then going to add to the list here, return it back as a result, and attempt to save it. So let's go ahead and try this code, see what we get back. Cross your fingers, everybody. I'm hoping it works. Dude Manin? Just taking a guess on that name, but welcome, thanks for following. Hopefully all of you are having a good day. I'm having a good day. Okay, and when I run this, do we blow up or does it work? Cross them fingers. Alright, so we're looking for a 702.702.622. Hey, it saved it. Nice. We didn't have to do any extra work. That is a victory right there. Awesome. Okay, save bot records with game record. That is fantastic. Henrik, saving more data. New branch. Yeah, Blub, that was nice. I like how that worked. That was good. That was good. I like it when code just works. It makes me happy. One other thing, I wanted to make sure that I remind everybody, so if you've been here for hours watching us with the stream today, I want to apologize for repeating this, but I do want to make sure I let as many people know as possible. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. I wanted to let you all know that I am planning a Learn to Code using C# stream. So if you are interested in learning like basics of programming in C#, I am going to start a stream. This is going to be a series we're going to do here. It'll probably be one time a week, and we're probably going to shift around days. Right now it looks like we're going to mainly be on Saturdays and Mondays, but there's still time to vote. So if you do want to have some kind of suggestion on when we do this, this is your way. Go ahead and vote on this poll, retweet it to let other people know too, but I'm planning on doing like a regular, like once a week we're going to do a Learn to Code stream, and the way we're going to do it is this. At the beginning of every stream, we're going to start a new project in VS Code that we're going to program along together. It's going to be simple, and we're going to be able to complete it in the amount of time that we do on the stream. And by we're going to be able to complete it, I don't mean I'm going to be able to complete it. I mean we're going to all be able to complete it, because everybody's going to be doing the same code at the same time. So if you are new to C#, you're a beginner, and you want to be able to practice and follow along, you'll do that. And essentially all you have to have is VS Code installed, so it doesn't matter if you're on Mac, on Windows, on Linux. No matter where you are, you can write this code. We're primarily going to do console applications for now, just because they're easier. The barrier to entry is lower, so we're learning the language, not necessarily a framework, like a web framework, for example, like ASP.NET Core. So by doing this, we're going to make it easy for people to just jump in and catch up and figure out what they're doing. So nice and easy every time to just write some code with us. So if you have questions, if you run into problems along the way, I and other people in chat are going to be writing the same code, so we can help you out and help you figure out how to do it. And I'm usually going to be explaining some kind of concept. So we're going to start out super simple, but all of them should be approachable regardless of experience level. And if you are a more advanced developer, consider this an opportunity to get back to basics, or just to try out interesting things. So do the code a different way. Don't do it the same way we are. Try something different. Try a new approach. It's really up to you. You could go beyond what we're building. So if we're building a simple app, you could, on your own, figure out what other features you want to build and make it more interesting. So these projects will be open to anybody, regardless of how experienced a programmer you are. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The first one is probably going to be... I'm going to try to do one next week, but it might have to wait until the 2nd of July or so. Just due to scheduling. But we're going to start those soon, and I'm going to try to do one stream a week as a Learn to Code stream. So hopefully I will see everybody back for that. So, and if you haven't yet, and you are interested in that, click the follow button here on Twitch, and that is the best way to get notified when those go live. Alright, so we got this working. That is actually saving our data. That's really cool. I'm so excited that that actually worked. Like, first try, too. And this is live, so people can vouch for the fact that I didn't edit that. Oh, dang it. You guys can read that text over there, can't you? Whoops. Alright, so that was a little joke. No, I don't edit the videos. They go up on Twitch. You actually get to see me mess up all the time. Congratulations. Okay, so that is storing all of our bot records in our game runner result. Right here, game record, game runner result. This returns back right here. So from the match results, we create this. This has bot records in it. It's doing this from match results. Match results have more details. I want to get these details stored in the database as well. So in order to do that, we're going to need to figure something out. Let's take a look at this match result. So things we're able to do here. If we were to store this in the database, it would make foreign key references to these competitors. It would need round results stored in there as well. I'll look at that in a second. And then it would need a match outcome. I think it could store all of those just fine. Those shouldn't be affected. What is in a round result? Round result. It has a match ID, has a winner. Okay, so this has a list of round results. This, instead of having a match ID, needs to have the actual match results. I think it needs a match result object. I think that's the way we're going to do this. So, here's what we do. We take the match result, and we're going to make this a base entity. So this is going to give it an ID. Yeah, it's that simple of a class. Once this has an ID value, I can then do this. I can come in here and I can say that this is also a base entity. So now this will also have an ID. Now instead of having an actual ID for the match ID, I want to give it a property of a match result. So we're going to have a match result on that. Now I'm going to remove the match ID, and we're going to lean on the compiler to help us get this working better. So this one, which I notice right here, first, we can just replace with matchID.result. So we're going to run into a couple of problems. So remember, I want to store this in the database. I can't store these values in the database. I want simpler types, so I need a competitor instead of the bot here in these result values. So we're going to fix that. So round result gets a match ID set, but really what we should be doing is when we, so this is the match runner, it returns a match result, and we say get match result from this, right? It creates this object, does some stuff with it, passes it in, blah blah blah. However, I think that this match result needs to be a parameter to this. So I am going to hit Control-Alt-P for parameter. ReSharper is going to help me out with this. So Control-Alt-P, and we're going to call this match result. Now when it does that, what you'll notice is that it did some stuff of like yanking things out. It moved it up to here. It was the last parameter. I don't want it to be the last parameter, so I'm going to hit another keyboard shortcut. The refactor one, Control-Shift-R for refactor. And then I'm going to say change signature. I want to move this up to the top. So move up, move up, move up. And then it's now at the top of the list. So it rearranges that, and in addition, you'll notice it actually moved this to the top here. So that now became the first parameter. So now I want to extract a variable here, and that's the match result. When I take this match result and I move it up to the top of this, I can now use my match result .id on here. Oh, actually, sorry. I meant to do this because we got rid of that. So I want to say match result. So now when I create my round result object, it has a match result it's associated with. So that link is created, and it will get added to the set in here as needed. Okay. This is pointing out that I'm not using that variable in there, so I'm going to remove it. Next thing I want to look at is that base bot parameter we've got there. So I have this in here. We only have number 1, and that's because we're checking to see if that was the winner, to see who it is that won. But I think we can do that another way. I think what we can get away with round result. So our round result is still running these bot objects, and I don't think that's actually what we want to have. I think we want to have competitor objects instead. So we'll fix that in a moment. Where did this return to? This gets us this match runner result. Okay, so when we do this, here's what we're doing. We're grabbing previous result.matchID. What we need to do is we need to say match result on that. So pull that value from there and return it. So all of these need to be part of that match. They all need to know that they're in that match. Are you kidding me? Okay. So, this is like prepping this stuff. Preparing match and round results for storage. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is on round result, I want to change this so we're not keeping track of these this way. Don't like the way that we've got this. We don't want bots, we want competitors. We want competitor here also. Competitor. This should also be a competitor. So those are all competitors, they're not the bots anymore. That we might actually want to use the bot for. So first off, I notice I'm still using this iBot interface. We need to get rid of that. We need to stop using that like everywhere. Competitor, winner. I want to use equals instead, just in case. I'm going to say bot.competitor. We're going to use equals just in case. So we're getting rid of that iBot interface that we've got in there. To specific player. Base bot. So as I said, I want to, you know, I might just bite the bullet. I'm going to bite the bullet. We're getting rid of that interface right now. Goodbye. Goodbye, interface. Goodbye. Oh, Kazru, yeah. Good night. Have a good exam. Good luck. Do well. Basebot, 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 basebot. Basebot. Okay, so we're doing that on the round result. I'm wondering if we can do it somewhere else. So apply dynamite usage to bots. So I'm actually just going to pass these values in for now. So player 1, P1 decision, and then player 2, and then P2 decision. So we're going to change this. We're no longer going to take these values. I'm going to pass these in as the new parameters. Sure, generate an overload. That's fine. Basebot player 1. Decision, player 1 decision, player 2 decision, and now I'm going to pull this up here, put it in there, get rid of this code, And now this is P1 decision. This is P2 decision. This is player 1. And this is player 2. So if player 1 used dynamite, increment. If player 2 used dynamite, increment. Good. Keeping track of that, making sure everybody's doing their stuff. Not ideal just yet, but getting there. Dot competitor, and then winner dot competitor. So now when we use our, oh, that could be null, question mark dot competitor, because that's nullable. I believe is what we want here. Cannot apply that, so that is player1 dot competitor, and we're going to do an equals call there. Just to be sure, iBot no longer exists. BaseBot is not an iBot anymore. Congratulations, you're no longer that. SignalRBot, are you a base? You're a base bot. What was using iBot? FakeBot is now a base bot. Congratulations. So because it's this, it needs to override instead of just implementing. So that's the difference with being inherited from this. So now when we do that, that should work. It's use dynamite method. Wait a minute, do I actually need that? I'm not 100% that I need that. Add that in, and then I just have to override this, right? That's the only change. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I'm actually getting the only change there. I think that's the only one. Dot competitor. Question is, do these get a competitor value by default? BaseBot competitor? No, they don't have a competitor by default. Let's go back to these tests. So I could dot competitor this. However, I might actually need to have a competitor object on these. So what I'm going to do is this. Hang on. So the stupid thing is when you're doing this multi-line stuff, it can get bad sometimes, like it's not the smartest. Visual Studio's not, I should say. I accidentally clicked and dragged in Visual Studio there. If you didn't see that, that was dumb. Alright, let's get this back on screen. Competitor. Visual Studio was trying to help me there. Wasn't very helpful about it. So private read only and private read only. Alright, I'm going to do a cool trick, if you're all paying attention here. I don't know if you all know that you can do this. DynoBot equals so by saying that, by putting in that using statement, I can now use this as like an alias for another type. So I don't know if you knew that you could do that. So that's a trick in C#. I wanted a shorter name for that type here in the test because it was annoying that I had to write it that way. So now DynoBot is a dynamite only bot. So, yep, that's how that works. It's crazy, but it does. Neat stuff right there. Okay, there we go. So that's removing iBot interface. Boom. Alright, we are making some good progress on that. I actually like where that's going. But I do want to make sure that we wrap up this stream before we get to 3 o'clock my time this afternoon. So I want to say a couple of things before I duck out of here. First off, all the code that we do here on stream, whenever I click that push button, it's going out to GitHub. So all the code we do here is out on github.com/devchatter. So if you're interested in checking out anything that we do here, that is the place to do it. Also, if you want to keep chatting with us after the DevChatter stream, the best place to chat is in our chat application. We use a Discord app, and Discord is an application that's commonly used by gamers, but also used by Twitch streamers fairly often, and it lets us have good discussions about different things related to coding and programming. A lot of the people that do the contributions to our project, our open source projects, the ones that send in pull requests, are in our Discord and chat with us before they send those in to talk with us about what they're doing. If you want to chat with me or any of our other DevChatter viewers, that's the place to do it. In addition, if you want to catch any of our old videos, the place that you can do that so you can see where our project started, you want to see something else, you want more DevChatter, the best place to do that, take a look right up here. There is a videos section here on Twitch, up there above the screen. But then if you don't find it there, you can also check out our YouTube, which I just linked to there. That is our YouTube channel where we have an archive of our videos. So as videos expire from Twitch, because Twitch only hangs on to them for so long, we have them over on YouTube. So any videos that are not here, you'll find over there, including the oldest ones. So that is a great place to start for seeing the beginnings of our projects, is our YouTube channel. And you can feel free to follow me or the DevChatter account on Twitter. I've linked that there as well. So other than that one, I want to mention one other thing, which is that our schedule is right there. And let me convert that into my time zone. So our stream is actually one that takes place regularly 4 times a week. So we stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, which is a lot of streams. We're usually at 2 p.m. my time, that's Eastern Daylight Time. On Mondays and Tuesdays we are. On Thursdays we start 2 hours early, at about noon my time. So that was almost 3 hours ago. And then on Saturdays we start at 1 p.m. So we're going to stream again on Saturdays. So hopefully you'll all join us for that. It should be a good time. It is possible but unlikely that we'll start our new Learn to Code streams then. But it'll probably be next week, maybe on Monday. We'll see. I want some results from that Twitter post, that poll that I mentioned earlier. So if you are able to, take a look at that right here. There's a Twitter poll. Feel free to go here, retweet it, or just vote, up to you. And let me know which day works well for you. And we are going to be doing that sometime soon here. So if you want to get prepped for it, I am going to do a video that explains how to set up your computer so you can be ready to code with us on our Learn to Code streams. And other than that, have a great day. Enjoy your Thursday. I will see you all on the weekend. So be awesome ending out that week. And I will see you later. Bye, everyone.